Hey everyone, and welcome back to Book on a Shelf. Now, when you think of Homer's Iliad, what's the first thing that comes to mind? The Trojan War, right? Well, what if I told you that's not what it's really about? The war, that's just the stage. The real story, the one we're diving into today, is much more personal. It's about one single devastating emotion that nearly brought the most powerful army in the world to its very knees.
I mean, check this out. The very first word of the entire epic tells you everything you need to know. In the original Greek, it's menin. In English, rage. So yeah, this isn't really a story about Troy, or Helen, or that famous wooden horse. All that stuff comes later. No, this is the story of the rage of one man, Achilles, the greatest warrior the Greeks have, and how that one man's fury almost wiped out his entire side.
All right, section 1, a quarrel of heroes. So picture this. We are 10 long years into this brutal siege of Troy. Everyone's exhausted. Morale is totally in the gutter. And tensions, they are at an absolute breaking point. And right at the center of it all, you've got these two massive egos just waiting to explode. Agamemnon, he's the commander-in-chief, and then you have Achilles, his star player, the unbeatable, but let's just say very volatile warrior. So what's the spark that lights this whole powder keg? It all comes down to a clash over honor. Here's the deal. Agamemnon has to give up his war prize, a woman named Chryses. To save face, because for these guys, public image is everything, he just publicly announces, fine, I'll take Achilles' prize instead, a woman named Briseis. Now, for Achilles, this isn't just about losing a prize. Oh no, this is a massive public slap in the face. It's a theft of his honor, his hard-earned glory. And his reaction? Just pure, absolute contempt. And Achilles doesn't just storm off to his tent to sulk. No, he goes nuclear. He pulls himself and his entire army of elite soldiers, the legendary Myrmidons, completely out of the war. And then, just to twist the knife, he prays to his mom, the goddess Thetis, and basically says, hey, can you ask Zeus to make the Greeks get absolutely hammered? I want them to lose so badly that they come crawling back to me, begging for my help. Talk about holding a grudge. So, section 2. The gods take sides. As mortals fight below, the heavens go to war. You'd think this is just a human problem, right? Wrong. This whole mess is about to get way, way bigger. Because up on Mount Olympus, the gods are picking sides. They've got their own favorites, their own old scores to settle, and trust me, they are anything but neutral observers. It's pretty wild, actually. The war on the ground is basically mirrored up in the heavens. You've got Hera and Athena, who have a serious grudge against Troy, so they're Team Greek all the way. On the other side, you have Apollo and Aphrodite backing the Trojans. And these gods are not just cheerleading. They are right down in the thick of it, deflecting spears, whispering words of courage, causing total chaos, basically turning the tide of the battle whenever they feel like it. And you know that prayer Achilles made? Well, it gets answered, big time. Without their champion, the Greek army just collapses. The Trojans, led by their amazing prince Hector, are suddenly unstoppable. They are slaughtering the Greeks, pushing them all the way back to their ships on the beach. They're so close to just burning those ships and ending this war once and for all. Section 3. A friend's final battle. Okay, so things are looking really, really bad for the Greeks. Their camp is about to be completely overrun, but there's one person watching all this carnage who just can't take it anymore, and that's Patroclus, Achilles' closest, dearest friend. So Patroclus goes to Achilles and begs him for a compromise. He's like, listen, if you won't fight, let me fight. Let me wear your legendary armor and lead your men into battle. The idea was that just the sight of that famous armor would be enough to freak out the Trojans and give the Greeks a fighting chance. Achilles, against his better judgment, agrees. But he gives Patroclus one crucial, fateful warning. Push them back from the ships, but that's it. Go no further. And the plan works. Maybe a little too well. Patroclus leads the charge and completely routs the Trojans. But then, in the heat of the moment, he gets caught up in what they called battle lust. And he forgets that one warning. He charges all the way to the walls of Troy itself. And there, the god Apollo intervenes, stunning him, which allows Hector to move in for the kill. Hector kills Patroclus and strips that legendary armor right off his body. And right here, this is the moment the entire epic pivots. When the news of Patroclus' death gets back to Achilles, his rage completely transforms. That sullen, prideful anger he had for Agamemnon, it's just washed away by this absolute tsunami of grief. And that grief hardens into something new, something terrifying. a burning, all-consuming need for revenge against Hector. Section 4, the Rage of Achilles. So Achilles goes to Agamemnon and they reconcile, but make no mistake, it's not because he's forgiven him. It's because he just needs to get back into the fight. The Achilles who returns to the battlefield isn't the same man. He's not fighting for glory anymore. He's not fighting for honor. He is quite literally a walking embodiment of death. First things first, though, Hector has his old armor, so Achilles needs a new set. His mother, Thetis, goes straight to the top, the smith god himself, Hephaestus. And what Hephaestus creates is just incredible, especially the shield. It's a masterpiece that shows the entire world of human experience. You've got cities at peace next to cities at war, people harvesting fields, people dancing. It's this beautiful, poignant image of life, which is a really stark contrast to the brutal, singular reason it was made, to kill. This new Achilles is inhuman. He just unleashes this horrifying rampage, slaughtering Trojans so mercilessly that the river Scamander literally gets choked with bodies, and the river god himself rises up out of the water to fight him. Think about that. Achilles is no longer just a man fighting other men. He's become a force of nature fighting nature itself. It's insane. Section 5. The Price of Glory. As you can imagine, the entire Trojan army flees from this rampage, hiding behind their city walls. All of them, except one man. And the entire epic now narrows its focus, zooming in on the final, inevitable showdown that's been 10 years in the making. And Hector knows he's probably not walking away from this. His own parents are on the city walls, begging him to come inside, to save himself. But his sense of honor, his duty to his people, it won't let him. He feels he has to stand his ground and face this monster that he, in a way, helped create. He is going to defend his city no matter the cost. Achilles, on the other hand, he's not feeling noble at all. Hector tries to make a pact with him, a sort of warrior's code. Whoever wins, they'll return the other's body for a proper burial. Achilles just scoffs at him. He basically says there are no deals between lions and men. His only goal is brutal, cold, merciless revenge. And the duel, it's over almost before it begins. It's swift, brutal, and decisive. Achilles knows his old armor inside and out. He knows the one weak spot, and he drives his spear right through Hector's neck. But for Achilles, just killing Hector isn't enough. His rage demands more, so he does something truly horrific, something that breaks every code of honor. He ties Hector's body to the back of his chariot and drags it through the dirt, circling the city walls again and again, making sure Hector's family sees the whole thing. It's an act so disrespectful, so beyond the pale, that it actually offends the gods on Olympus. Section 6. A Moment of Grace. And it's right here, at the absolute peak of Achilles' inhuman rage, that Homer gives us the story's most powerful, most beautiful, and most human moment. Hector's father, the old king Priam, does something that seems completely impossible. He undertakes this incredibly dangerous journey, guided by the god Hermes, sneaking into the enemy camp, all alone, in the dead of night. And he walks right into the tent of the man who just butchered his son. And what Priam does next is just breathtaking. He kneels and he kisses the very hands that murdered his son. And this incredible act of humility, this raw display of a father's grief, it finally breaks through. It shatters Achilles' rage, because Achilles looks at this old man and sees his own father, who he knows will soon be grieving for him. And in that moment, the warrior is gone. The two men, the killer and the father of the man he killed, they weep together. The rage is just gone, washed away by a shared universal sorrow, and Achilles gives Hector's body back. So, in the end, what's more powerful, a warrior's rage or a father's grief? The Iliad starts with a rage so powerful it tears the world apart, but it ends with a simple act of empathy that manages to stitch a small piece of that world back together again. It's a timeless question, really, about the forces that drive every single one of us. Is it the destructive fire of our anger, or is it the shared humanity that we can only find in our grief? What an incredible story. Thanks so much for joining me for this breakdown on Book on a Shelf. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We've got more classic stories coming your way, so stay tuned for the next episode.